Welcome back to Welcome Home. I'm Rachel Holder with Compass Real Estate, and I am joined right now by a very special guest via Zoom call. Wes Moss is the Chief Investment Strategist at Capital Investment Advisors. He's a best-selling author, and he's also the host of Money Matters, one of the nation's longest-running live call-in personal finance radio shows. Wes, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Rachel. Happy to be here.
Well, I really appreciate you doing this today. We've got some great questions. So I want to have a Q&A with you from questions that were submitted via social media and Facebook from folks.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Let's get right to the meat of this. And I'm just going to throw this one at you. But this question is, are we headed toward a recession? Can we avoid one? Will the economy recover? What are your thoughts?
We are very likely headed to a recession, really in a recession right now. The question I've been getting is, are we going into a depression? And the answer to that is almost 99% no. I don't think that there's a question that we're going to have a recession, but a recession is also really long. So a recession is 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. That would be, so minus, let's call it 5% or 10%. In the second quarter, which we've just begun. And then, of course, the third quarter, we'd have to also be negative. I think there's no question that the next quarter is going to be negative growth. No question about it. I think that if you get through April, May, June, the question is, does starting in July, August, September, do we kind of open back up, or do we open back up partially? And I think the answer is we're going to be back to business in America, but maybe not fully back to business. So employers that have laid people off, they're going to have to try to bring people back. So we can see you can see a slightly negative third quarter. And then I think we get back to either flat or potentially growing again in the fourth quarter. So technically, do we have a recession? I think that the answer is yes to that. But I think it can really be limited to 2 quarters, which I think that's really what's important here. 2 quarters of negative growth, but unlikely to last longer than that.
All right, so speaking of recovery then, what are your thoughts on the stimulus package?
There is something in the stimulus package for almost everyone. So it is $2 trillion. There's direct payments, obviously, to families, whether if you're single, if you're married. There's some income thresholds, obviously, to meet. But from an individual perspective, there are 90% of Americans are going to get a stimulus check. There's enhanced unemployment benefits in a significant way. So if your unemployment would have been $300 a week, it's boosted by $600 per week. So you can see unemployment checks in the $900 a week range, $1,000 a week. And that's extended, that boosted unemployment all the way for 16 weeks, so 4 full months. And then an enormous amount of money, $350 billion to small business owners and small businesses to keep people on the payroll. And it's really a bridge to me. I mean, there are a lot of different analogies on this stimulus plan. I've been calling it a nuclear bazooka to fight against coronavirus. Really, it's a $2 trillion bridge because we're going to have a slow April and a slow May in the U.S. economy. And this is a bridge to get us to the summer, keep people on the payroll, and that way our economy can really recover starting this summer.
I think a lot of us wonder, okay, what can we be doing right now? Tell me a little bit about what investors should be doing based on age as we wrap up here.
We've got to make sure we have some money that's in safer assets, obviously, if people get laid off, so that we can get through these difficult periods of time. Make sure you know where your dry powder is, whether it's in your investment accounts. One of the things about the stimulus bill is that now you can tap your retirement assets early without penalty. So that's another fallback for families if you need to tap all the way up to $100,000 pre-age 59 and a half. So that's another resource that Americans can look to get them through, just bridge them through the gap until this economy gets back up and running, which I think will be this summer.
Wes, that's about all the time we have. I did want to ask real quickly, I learned that you have 4 little ones and you're trying to work from home like a lot of us. Do you have one work from home tip that you found to work?
Really double doors. I've got doors that go into one room and then another door in the office. Otherwise, I have 4 boys and then 2 dogs, and it's just loud. I think we're all used to it now. So I don't have a huge amount of people busting into the office, but it's loud like anybody else working from the house.
I love it. That's great. Wes, thank you so much for joining us. And
Thanks,
thank all of you for joining us for this episode as well. I hope you found some information that you can use now to help you through these unprecedented times. For our next episode, we'll have some more information for you, a DIY episode dedicated to things you can do during quarantine and beyond. Between now and then, I'd love to connect with you at RachelHolderHomes.com. Take care.